I can't take it anymore. So let's get to the scuttlebutt of the day here. Now this one here, I mean, my God, I swear to you, I'm going to lose it today. I lost it yesterday, and I'm going to lose it again today. Massachusetts. Good God Almighty. A judge literally steals a child away from the family. And that's exactly what you did, Judge. And I got your name. I'm going to be blasting you, mister. What you did was horrible. Steals a child legally. Takes away the child from the parent. Let's get into this. The family of Justina Pelletier. You've heard this. I'm sure you've heard this story, but we're going to cover it again. A 15-year-old girl is now in the center of a battle between two states and two prestigious hospitals. Is now devastated because the Massachusetts judge, what the hell is this idiot's name? I think it's Joseph something. This guy's a creep. This guy should be removed from the bench immediately. What the hell is his stupid name here now? Joseph Johnston in Massachusetts. If you're in Massachusetts, you vote for this son of a bitch again, shame on you. Shame on you. Any sense about you? That governor had any sense about him? Anybody had any sense about it themselves in Massachusetts, which most of you do not? But if you did, you would make damn sure that this judge is removed from the bench. Furthermore, the son of a bitch needs to go to jail for a while. You don't steal kids from families. You don't do that. How this father kept his composure, I don't know. He's a bigger man than me because I wouldn't have. Lou Pelletier, that's the father, tells Fox News that the Bay State bureaucracy has aligned against his family from the very beginning. I wonder if they didn't find out in the records, which we do know now, that when your child goes to school, let me see if I can find this. This is all part of the Common Core Agenda 21. Agenda 21, Common Core, it's all part of the same stuff. It's all coming out of the same stew. It's absolutely, this is just what they're doing to this country. Here it is. Why they are doing it, what this liberal agenda is, I don't particularly understand it, and it's dangerous to me. We are turning our country into just a big giant target. Speaking of targets, well, we'll get to that a little bit later. This is a problem with these liberals. You can't stop. It's just I'll never get anything done with these people. But this is when you send your child to school, you think they're going to be getting an education. Well, they're not. They're going to be getting an indoctrination. Not only that, these teachers, this is part of their curriculum now, part of their job, where they have to gather information and put into your child's file so they can send to the government, so the government knows everything about your child and you as the parent. They want to know the child's health histories. You don't need to know the health history unless the child's got some kind of something that the teacher needs to know about. So in case the kid starts acting up, she knows that the kid needs medication or whatever. Diabetic seizures, I've seen that. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody go through a diabetic, fit, whatever it is. But it's kind of scary. And I saved my buddy's life because he told me about it a week before. And I didn't think anything about it, of what he needed. I didn't know that's what happened with diabetes. I was in college. I was 18. I didn't really know too much about diabetes. Well, I very quickly learned that day. But you don't need to know the health histories. The income of the family. Why would you, as a teacher, need to know the family's income? Because if they're rich, well, then we've got to target them. But if they're poor, well, then we let them pass whether they completed the work or not. Because we can't discriminate. Yeah, we can discriminate against stupid people. If they're not going to learn, they don't deserve to move ahead. If you refuse to learn the material, you do not deserve to pass. And if it means you don't graduate high school, and we have hundreds of thousands and maybe even millions of kids that don't graduate, so be it. Look, you kids have no one to blame but yourself. You get no sympathy from me, but there's no excuse why the school needs to get your family income. Your voting status. Why do they need to put this in your child's file? And you think this is a joke? I'm making this up? This is all hyperbole? I'm just hot air. Well, go to your child's school. Prove me wrong. They have a file on your child. A voting status. That's important. What you can't teach a kid? You can't teach them how to add and subtract unless you know the family's voting status? Or is that to help you target the haters? You know, those people that like freedom. The blood types. Well, if the kid loses a lot of blood, needs a blood transfusion in the gym, okay. But I think that most people in this situation, most teachers anyway, when they see a kid bleeding profusely, they're going to call like an ambulance or something. And they can take him to a hospital to get a blood transfusion. There, they can test the blood right away and find out what kind of blood he's got. So you don't really need that. Oh, premature birth. They've got to find out whether this child was born prematurely or not. Yeah, that'll help. That'll really help in the child's education, that the teacher knows that this kid was born premature. Birthmarks, that's important. Bus stop arrival times. Yeah. Bus stop arrival times. Why is that? So they know if your mommy or daddy takes the bus so they can follow them? Is that what it is? Extracurricular activities. They must know this. What does your child do out of school? Does he play sports? Is he music and art? What does your child do out of school? Does he take gun safety courses? Is that what he does? Does he go hunting? Is that what he does? Well, we've got to find this information out. We've got to put it on here. I tell you, damn hunters. Yeah, if it wasn't for hunters, mankind would have never evolved in the species we are today. Not for nothing. But, in any event, we can go on for hours, but there's over 400 data points. It's supposed to stay with the students till they're 20. Important information. Got to have this information down here. Can't educate the kid until you know what the father and the mother vote. Go to your child's school. You doubt me? Test me. Go to your child's school. Find out what they're doing to your child. Find out what they're actually teaching your child. This Agenda 21, look it up. Go on YouTube. Just type in Agenda 21. Type it in. You'll see some videos in there. You are going to be amazed. This is no longer in the planning phases. This is deep, deep into the execution phase. I've got a town just 2 towns away from me. 5-10 minutes away on a car. It's one of the first cities here in New York that's doing this Common Core or Agenda 21. The whole point of this Agenda 21 is to put everybody in these little government pods, these government-made ghettos, high-rises, putting all these people in just a few square acres here, a couple square miles. Everything out of that little government-mandated ghetto is for the animals. You're not allowed to go there. You can get thrown in jail for that, yeah. Stuff is real. Check it out. Now, getting back to this creep judge, which I wish this guy, if he was brave enough, I know he's not listening, and I know that nobody in Massachusetts that knows this judge is listening. But by some strange, bizarre, cosmic intervention, and you do know who this judge is in Massachusetts, tell this son of a bitch to give me a call. I want to speak to this little coward. I'd like to have a conversation with this man. I don't want to have it face to face because I'm sure that I'm going to end up in jail. He's going to end up in the ER. I'm going to end up in jail. So we better do it over the phone. This is the kind of stuff that we can't have in this country anymore. And if we don't stand up against this, it's going to continue. And it's only going to get worse. And if it means you got to stand up and you got to say a few choice words, that's right, you do. Speak from the heart. Civility. Yeah, civility is great. Everybody wants civility. But civility can only work for so long. After a while, you got to start slapping people. You got to get their attention. You got to let them know you're not going to do this anymore. What happens to a bully when he keeps picking on you? Well, he keeps punching you. He keeps kicking you. He keeps pinching you, pulling your hair, spitting on you until you eventually wise up and punch a son of a bitch in the nose. So the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families took emergency custody of Justina on Valentine's Day. Oh, that's a show of love. This was in 2013. Over a year ago. Imagine losing your child for a year and you just get little visitation rights. How would you feel? I wonder how this judge would feel. They took away his kids. Obviously, he doesn't care about kids. So it probably wouldn't matter to him. So on Valentine's Day, the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families took emergency custody of Justina after Doc Tufts Medical Center, which has been treating her for a rare condition, and doctors at Boston's Children's Hospital clashed over the cause of her medical problems, which included difficulty in eating and walking. They say at Tufts, Justina had been treated for a, mitochondrial disease, a rare genetic disorder that affects her cellular energy production. So she doesn't have enough energy to get up and do a lot of things. When Justina began experiencing some gastrointestinal problems, the Tufts doctor treating her, Dr. Mark Corson, wanted the girl to visit Dr. Flores at the Boston Children's Hospital. Dr. Flores has been treating Justina before, and Corson thought that it was beneficial for the young girl to see this guy, a gastroenterologist. Got a problem with the gas? Go see a gas doctor. I mean, it seems to be perfectly logical to me. I mean, what the hell do I know? I'm a goddamn conservative. I don't know anything about logic. I'm not a doctor. What do I know? I didn't win an election. I don't know anything. Justina was taken to the Boston Children's Hospital, but because she arrived by the ambulance, she was taken directly into the hospital's emergency room. Now, this is where the story really starts to spin out of control. So far, the family's saying, okay, my daughter needs to see my daughter needs to see a gastroenterologist, or whatever the hell, I can't pronounce it. She's sick. She wants to get better. This doctor here has been treating her. The new doctor that she's being sent to, he's been treating her. So they think at this point, okay, we're just going to go back to the other doctor and maybe we can find out what's going on here. They're doing everything they can to treat their daughter, take care of their daughter. They're doing what a parent is supposed to do. But this is where the story really spins out of control. She's in the emergency room, and a resident refused to send her to Dr. Flores. Why? Well, we don't know. He declared that this was his case. Really? Wow, as long as he declared it, he must be a king where they can just declare things like Obama does. Another delay to Obamacare. I'm the king. I declare it. I decree it. It's settled. He said the unnamed resident. Why is he unnamed? I want to know who this resident is. I want to know who this doctor is. I'd like to have this guy on my show, too. I'd like to ask him a few questions, or her. He said the unnamed resident then called upon a psychologist, which a psychologist... Oh, for God's sakes, please do not get me started on that. I don't. We can't. Called upon a psychologist who diagnosed Justina with a, I guess how you pronounce it, somatoform disorder. I don't know what the hell it is. I've never heard of it. I don't know anything medical terms. I don't know. See, in my mind, if I don't know medical terms, it means that I don't have it. If I don't know any of these medical names, that means that I don't have it. In my mind, I know it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's not. There's no real logic. Mind over matter only works so much. I know. But just the way it is. I don't like hospitals. I don't go anywhere near hospitals. I don't like them. I hate walking into them. I hate the smell of them. I hate seeing people all bloodied up and guts and gore and blood all over the place. I hate seeing sick people. I just don't like hospitals. I can't go anywhere near them. I don't even like to walk near them. But the psychologist who just in just a few short hours, 25 minutes I think it was, just happened to diagnose her with this disorder. Now, as far as what I know, and I did a little bit of research, it takes like 2 or 3 years before you can actually physically diagnose somebody with this particular disorder. You can't do it in 25 minutes. That's according to all the experts. Now, am I an expert on it? No. I'm quoting them. I'm not quoting me. So if they're wrong, then they're wrong. But it only kind of makes sense to me. So here this psychologist speaks with her for 25 minutes. You got this. A mental condition in which a patient experiences symptoms that are real but have no physical or biological explanation. Well, sometimes Mother Nature throws a couple of curveballs at you. And just because you're a doctor, you could even be the best doctor in the world. Doesn't mean you know everything about medicine. Doesn't mean you know everything about that human body. We probably only, as much as we really know, we probably maybe know, 10% of the human body? There's different diseases. We probably have diseases in us that kills. We don't even know about it. Never been found. But the family quickly rejected the new diagnosis, psychiatric, but I said psychotic because it is psychotic, and wanted to bring their daughter back to Tufts, which was the original place that the daughter was. He claims the hospital tried to force the parents to sign papers preventing them from seeking another opinion. Now, how the hell can you do that? I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. Why would there even be a piece of paper out there that says, here, you must sign this. You can't seek a second opinion. What the hell are you talking about? I can't seek a second opinion. It's your body. You can seek as many opinions as you want. That's not a legal form. That can't be legal. Why would that even be a form anyway? Why would there even be a need for a form like that? Why would there be a need for a form like that you cannot, and if you sign it? So what happens if you do sign this piece of paper that prevents you from seeking a second opinion, and you do actually seek a second opinion? What happens? You go to jail? Huh? You get fined? Are you really a threat to society for getting a second opinion that you need to be thrown in jail for this? You need to be fined for this? Somebody's got to help me out with the logic of that one. You can't, because there is none. But I bet Kirsten Powers can come up with a good excuse. Temper's flared. Well, yeah, my temper's flaring right now. It's not even my kid. I don't even know these people. But again, this kind of stuff happens to one person, it happens to us all. And if you think, oh, well, that'll never happen to my child. That'll never happen to me. Really? You think maybe that this family here thought that that would never happen to them? Yeah, but it did. When they pull this crap, they don't pull this crap just on one person. They pull it on us all. We are all brothers. We are all sisters. We are one big, giant family. That's called Americans. That's what we are. We are a family. We come in every size, every shape, every color, every religion, every sex. We are one. They pull this crap to one person. They pull it to us. And we're going to stand back and just let them do it. Well, I'm going to find a way to see if I can get this dark. I mean, they're not going to come on this program. They'd never do it. But I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to give it that college try. And if, again, by some strange chance that anybody is actually listening to this, either live or archived, doctors to give me a call. You tell that resident to give me a call. You tell that judge, which we haven't got to yet. Wait till we get to him. I want to speak to these cowards. I want to speak to them. I want to find out just exactly why they did what they did. So after tempers flared between the Pelletiers and the staff at Boston Children's Hospital, the hospital then notified the state that they suspected the parents of medical child abuse. How medical child abuse? For what? Wanting to get the best medical care for their child? That's child abuse? Huh? The girl was kept at Boston Children's Psychiatric Ward. Why would this girl need to be in a psychiatric ward? For nearly a year. A year! This 14-year-old girl has got to go into a psychiatric ward because she has a disease that doctors can't figure out what the hell it is. So that means she's crazy. And she's got to be removed from her parents and put in a psychiatric ward. Girl in a psychiatric ward, they belong in the psychiatric ward. And that's not hyperbole. That's fact. Kept in the psychiatric ward for nearly a year, but was then slated to be transferred to another state facility. The family, which vented its anger in various media interviews, well, do you blame them? How would you feel? Hampered efforts to have her placed as near to them as possible. Well, of course, they want to see their daughter. That's their daughter. Wouldn't you want to see your daughter? Wouldn't you want to see your son? Well, yeah, we had you for 14 years, but you're sick, and we don't need to see you anymore. Just go ahead. Just stay in that psychiatric ward. You'll be all right. You're in good hands. She is currently now at the Wayside Youth and Family Support Network facility in Framingham, Massachusetts. There's never been a complaint about this family regarding their daughter, prior to this. The complaints have been when the DCF, which was that hospital, decided that they didn't smile at them correctly. Well, that's what it is. These people have egos. And if you don't walk in and start kissing their ass, you're a hater. And we're going to persecute you. We're going to punish you. You must be punished. Bad. Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but again, trickle-down tyranny. That's what it brings. Tyranny brings tyranny. Freedom brings freedom. Happiness brings happiness. Sadness brings sadness. You see how this all works? Huh? That's how it works. Everybody's happy and you walk into a room, well, you're going to naturally start to be a little happy. But you walk into a room where everybody's sad, you're naturally going to turn sad. You walk into a room where everybody's a tyrant, well, you're going to turn yourself into a tyrant too. Simple human psychology. Maybe if this psychologist would have understood that, maybe this girl would be in the right hospital, maybe at home, convalescing as an outpatient. So the father said that the judge, this Joseph Coward Johnston, let me repeat his name again, Joseph Coward Johnston. You are a coward, judge. You're not a judge. I can't call you a judge. Judges don't act like that. You're a creep. So the creep, Joseph Coward Johnston, ignored the testimony of his daughter's original doctors. Well, you can't listen to doctors. What the hell do they know? Who stand by the diagnosis of the mitochondrial disease. In more than a year since the ordeal began, the Pelletiers have only been allowed hourly visits each week with their daughter, so they get 1 hour a week. Boy, that's awful generous of them. Boy, can you believe that? They give them a whole hour a week. Each week. Well, hey, you can't argue with that. I don't know what the hell these parents are complaining about. You get to see your daughter for an hour once a week. What are you bitching about? The daughter's condition, they're saying now, has deteriorated. Of course it has. This girl is scared to death, I guarantee you. And so would you be. Removed from your family and put into a psychiatric ward. All because some goddamn resident had a bug up his butt that day. And these parents didn't kiss his ass. Well, you're lucky I don't see you right now, Mr. Resident, because I wouldn't kiss your ass, I would kick your ass. And somebody's going to do it out there. And I hope to God that I'm there to see it. And guess what? I'm not going to intervene. I'm not going to get in the way, and I'm not going to stop them. I don't know what the hell else to do. Civility doesn't seem to work. I guess the only thing that works is you smack somebody over the head with a brick. Is that what we have to do now? Do we really need to resort into violence to get our point across? Do we really? I'm going to go ahead and say no. I'm going to go ahead and say that we don't need to go down that road. But I'm also in the same breath going to say that if this continues, it's not going to be a choice. People are going to naturally do it. Again, simple psychology. Pushing people. When they have enough, they're going to rise up and push back. That's what happens. That's what will happen. So all you lefties out there who think you're living on high on the hog right now, you go, oh man, we got all of our liberal agenda. Oh yeah, everything is rosy. Beware. You're going to pull this crap to the wrong person, and that person's going to have a bug up his butt. And then you're going to have his boot up yours. And well-deservedly so. The point is, you don't have to be a tyrant just because our president is. That's the hourly visits a week. Well, that's... Think about that. Think about if you could only visit your daughter because of a judge who didn't understand the situation. Because of a resident who had a bug up his butt. What would you do in that situation? What would you do? How would you feel? Think about it. Seriously, think about that. They say that she has deteriorated. Of course, she's gonna. Her symptoms are going to be getting worse. It's from the mind. This girl's scared to death. She doesn't have the activities like she used to. Her parents used to take her out. They would, take her, ice skating and playing different sports. They tried to keep her as active as they, possibly could. She would go to school. She would do this. She was being treated, but she still was living a life. She was an outpatient. Now she's an inpatient at a psychiatric ward. These are the times in her life. These are very important times in a child's life when they get 13, 14, 15, and that teenage. That's a very important time in their life. And when you're screwing with this girl, she's going to be messed up if she gets fixed, if she gets healed. She's going to have some mental conditions now. She's going to have some problems later down the road. And you residents, and you judges, and you hospitals, you did this to this girl. You're killing this girl. And if she does die because of this, you should be tried for murder, period. That's exactly what it is. It is murder. Tuft was working fine with her, the family says. Diagnosed medically, she's going to school, ice skates, does all the things that a normal kid would do. And they look at her now, and she's damn near a goddamn vegetable. Because the parents didn't smile enough, didn't smile correctly to the resident. I'd love to have a conversation with this resident. Piece of work, I can guarantee you. Good God Almighty. So, this creep, Joseph Johnston, acting as a judge, well, he's not acting like a judge, because if he did act like a judge, he wouldn't have been doing this. But he was sitting in the judge's chair, sitting on the bench, probably wearing a robe, too. Probably looked pretty. His ruling leaves it up to the State Department and children and families to decide whether or when Justina should be returned to the family, and leaves open the possibility the girl will be in a state care until she turns 18. Even though she's not cured, as soon as she turns 18, then she can leave. The judge, but she's not a judge, the coward, is expected to revisit the decision to award permanent custody in a follow-up court hearing on May 25th. No, that needs to be done now. This was the comments. This is what the judge, this was what the original comments is what he said. That there was no progress by the parents. No progress by the parents. What do you mean by no progress by the parents? I don't understand that. They did everything they could for this girl. Every time she got sick, they took her to the doctor, took her to the doctor, took her to the doctor. They kept her active. They kept her going to school. Kept her taking to doctors, getting more tests, more this, more that. What more progress do you need, Judge? And now, here's another thing. The judge claims that she was misdiagnosed. Claims that the girl has a mental condition, not a medical condition. Really? Do they teach medicine in law school now? Is that what they do? Huh? So once you become a judge, it's like, well, you get all these separate, special powers and knowledge and experience and leadership qualities. All you got to do is win an election, and all this stuff comes right to you. Here this judge is. He knows more than the doctors. He's a judge. He won an election. These doctors didn't win an election. They went to college. Okay, you're halfway there, but you didn't win an election. So you don't have any power. You don't have any rights. I do. I'm a judge. I got a robe. I'm in charge. I won an election. Nobody knows more than me. And claims that there's allegations of verbal abuse. Well, when that resident took away my child, yeah, I guarantee you the overwhelming vast majority of fathers out there in this country is going to have a few verbal abuses. Quite possibly a whole bunch of physical abuses, too. This stuff is real. When you start taking away your children away from parents, yeah, they get a little uppity. Try taking a cub away from a mama bear. See if she doesn't verbally abuse you. Bears are animals. Human beings are animals. We're mammals. We share a lot of traits. We're still the same. We look different. We act different. We speak different languages. We eat different foods. But we do protect our young. I don't know how these people can do that. How somebody could take away somebody's child, unless there is actual physical evidence that the child is being beat up. There's no evidence of that. There's nothing in here whatsoever to suggest that these parents didn't do everything they possibly could to get their daughter the best medical care. And yet they lose her because the parents didn't smile correctly. Probably they found out that they didn't vote for Barack Obama, so they've got to be a hater and they must be punished. In the meantime, the father said that his family is appealing a decision in which Coward Johnston backed the Boston Children's Doctors and said the family's attorneys have filed a writ of habeas corpus against Massachusetts for wrongful imprisonment. Well, good. You need to put the judge on there. You need to put the resident on there. You need to put a lot of people on there. Psychologists. You can't diagnose this within 25 minutes. This is according to the experts, not according to me. Just unbelievable, this stuff. And it's not once in a while. It's every day. Every day we got to report crap like this. I know this election coming up, but it's much deeper than that. It's much deeper than just this election. Just because you think you're going to vote in conservative-minded people into office doesn't mean this stuff is going to go away. It's not. The government will not do it. Whether they have the power to do it or not is irrelevant. The fact is they will not change this stuff. This is up to us. We must demand better from our leaders. We must demand this kind of stuff, these kind of judges. That we must demand that these judges be removed from the bench. We have got to hold people in power accountable. And if it means we got to impeach them, then fine. But eventually, you start impeaching a little bit. Eventually, you're going to get people go, wait a minute, I'm not going to go ahead and do that because I don't want to lose my job. So I'm going to follow the Constitution. I'm going to pull my head out of my ass, and I'm going to start using logic, and I'm going to pay attention to the facts and the evidence. This has to come from us. We have to do this. Look, if we have to change our culture, there's only one way that we can change our culture, and our culture right now is all kinds of messed up. But the only way to change the culture is we must first change our mindset. Our mindset must be that this kind of stuff, you want to talk about zero tolerance? This should be zero tolerance. We should have zero tolerance for this. Zero tolerance for cops who are not qualified to fire a firearm because they can't tell the difference between a cane and a rifle. We do not need these cops beating a man that barely spoke English to death in front of his wife and daughter. And as the man is lying there in a pool of his own blood and isn't moving because he can't move, he's probably in a coma at this point, if not already dead, realize that the mama is videotaping it. Don't move, sir. Don't go for my gun. Don't move. Don't move. Yeah, that's really going to work in court, pal. Yeah. Because you say, don't move. Stop resisting. The guy wasn't moving. We, as American citizens, must demand more from our leaders. And we must hold their feet to the fire. We must hold them accountable. And if they screw up, I don't care if you like them or not. I like a lot of these guys, but they screwed up. Daryl Issa, I love you, but you're fired. What you did was inexcusable. I don't give a damn what your reason was. You allowed this president to get an open checkbook. He's already got a magic pen. All he needed was that checkbook, and you gave it to him. Mr. Issa, you did a very bad thing. Very disappointed in you. You let the country down. All of us down. All of you. John Boehner, yeah, I got a couple things from him today too. Yeah, okay, fine. He goes out there and says a few things, gives out a tweet, gives out a speech. I can do that too. I can get on Twitter. I can give a tweet. I can give a speech. I can give a hell of a better speech than Obama can. What do speeches get? What do you get from a speech? You get a job from a speech? Huh? You get a meal from a speech? You did? Wow. Damn. Why don't you give me one of those speeches? I could use a meal right now. I'm hungry. I could also use a job, as a matter of fact. So why don't you give me a good speech so I can get that job that I want? That's no joke. I need a job. So give me a speech. I want a job. No more speeches, no more tweets. Don't tell me what the hell you're going to do, goddammit. Do it.